About 3 weeks ago, I talked about the whole Mr. T Lexify situation, the biggest, most impactful thing to ever happen in the zombies community. A girl named Reagan split up all the zombies YouTubers, made them start feuding, botting at each other's necks, with Mr. T Lexify making his video, My Ex. Noah J came out with a stream talking about it, and the Smith Plays even made his response. And now, 3 weeks after all of that, Noah J has came out with another response video actually finally addressing the allegations regarding him in this situation and not just his cheating allegations. Which, in my opinion, him responding this late, it's like if 9/11 happened and then the second plane decided to wait to hit the second tower on 9/17. But I guess it's better late than never, so let's just go ahead and see what he has to say to dispute all of Mr. T Lexify's claims, which were backed up with pretty substantial evidence.
2 weeks ago, someone I used to call my friend, Mr. T Lexify, made multiple false allegations about my friends and I. None of the people who know him in real life or even lived with him for years will ever associate with Lex ever again. I didn't want to make an entire video explaining why, but when you come after me and you lie about my friends, you leave me no choice. And I want to make it clear I have no interest in anything other than setting the record straight and then moving on from this situation.
I think the fallout of these zombies YouTubers needs to be studied. And honestly, if you think about it, Reagan is winning in the end. She is getting the last laugh because ultimately this is what she wanted. She wanted to just ruin everything. She wanted to crumble the empire. And here we are looking at the remains. The dust is settled and it's all torn apart.
In reality, the reason we don't see him with Lex any longer are because of the reasons I'm about to show you. It's also important to mention that every single piece of proof you're about to hear comes directly from Lex or his documents. In August of 2017, Lex brought a girl named Reagan over to the Z House. 2 weeks ago, Lex released a document and a YouTube video titled My Ex in response to the allegations made by his ex-girlfriend Reagan. In those documents, we found out that Lex knew Reagan was underage and lied to all of us in the Z House about it.
It is very important to note that when my friends first met Reagan had asked me to lie to them about her age.
I think the mistake people are making with this situation is that they think that either one side's right and one side's wrong. There's a right side of the fence and the wrong side of the fence. But ultimately, there's not anyone that's 100% innocent in this situation. I think the only truly terrible person through all of this is Reagan, the one who is actually the abuser, actually the pedophile, and has been proven with evidence to be those things. Sure, Noah's not innocent and Mr. T Lexify's done some things too, but ultimately the villain is Reagan, the one who started all of this.
Lex brought Reagan over, he was 19 years old, and we thought Reagan was 18 years old because that's what Lex told us. But in reality, Reagan was 16 years old that night, 2 years below the age of consent in California. Thinking it somehow absolved him of any wrongdoing, Lex then revealed in his video that he knew Reagan was an underage obsessed fan.
Another important thing to mention is that Reagan was an obsessive fan of mine. She fetishized me before I even knew who she was.
And like Noah J says, this whole video is just him going through things that have already been discussed by Mr. T Lexify, and he provides receipts and everything to back up his claims and what he is saying. There's not really any new evidence being put forward. It's just Noah J regurgitating and shitting out the same thing with his own little twist on it.
The conversation was strictly non-sexual and was never taken anywhere inappropriate. Alex was simply a kind fan that I confided in after a heated argument with my ex-girlfriend Reagan.
Lex put this tweet from the 13-year-old fan on screen during his video in defense that he did nothing wrong. What he failed to do was mention or address the tweet that triggered all of this.
But like we already seen from the clip he showed from Mr. T Lexify's video, the 13-year-old said that there was no wrongdoing committed, that Lex did nothing wrong. So I don't think the tweet that Noah is showing here as a gotcha actually proves anything.
To be clear, Lex had plenty of adult friends who were always there for him and constantly giving him their time and effort in order to help him with his relationship problems. An adult conversing with a middle school aged girl about his relationship problems is incredibly inappropriate.
No, yeah, I do agree that is definitely strange. It's weird. It's kind of icky. But you provide no evidence that you guys were actually there for him to talk to him about his relationship. And with how this whole situation has went down, it seems like you didn't have his back. But with that being said, I definitely don't think that excuses Lex's behavior there.
In fact, the only thing I personally did to him was say this on stream. Literally all I can say about it is I'm like kind of behind. I like partially saw a video someone made about it pop up in my recommended. But like at the end of the day, if there is anything A, illegal, or B, morally wrong that happened, then like that is obviously condoned at the, or like not condoned. What's the opposite of condoned? Condemned. Oh my god. Thank you. Thank you, Sam. Condemned.
And I think that stream clip just kind of makes him look worse. It makes him look like the shitty friend that Lex was saying he was, because he didn't care enough to look into it. He says he's seen a video roughly. He sort of knows what's going on, and then gives a little broad overstroke saying, if he did do something bad, I don't support that, but I don't really care enough to look into it. And then of course he shows where he also commented and supported one of the friends of Lex, who said that he would no longer be supporting him because of the evidence put out by Lex's ex-girlfriend, which very quickly were proven to be very wrong, and actually the complete opposite. She was everything that she was accusing him of, but they didn't care. They just jumped the gun and didn't really seem to want to get his side of the story. That comment right there pretty much sums up how Lex's friends treated him in this situation. Picked up max ammo before everyone reloaded. They are those kind of friends. They don't care about Lex. They're just going to reload themselves. And that's all they're looking out for.
If you want to trust my ex-girlfriend so much, here's a post Reagan made about seeing you cheat on Emmy with her sister Kate at Coachella. Everybody in our group saw your inexcusable actions and were utterly shocked that you would be sensually touching your girlfriend's sister in front of all of us while Emmy was not there.
So either A, Lex decided for this one instance in the entire video to believe his girlfriend and throw out the allegation that was completely false against JC. Or B, he actually was using this as a point to say, oh look, don't trust my ex-girlfriend about anything. It's a horrible way to make a point, to throw your friend under the bus like that, which makes the next thing he said even worse.
Touching your girlfriend's sister in front of all of us while Emmy was not there. I don't think PlayStation Studios wants to associate with a cheater who defends pedophiles such as my ex-girlfriend Reagan.
So far, this whole Noah J response has just been nuh-uh, with not much evidence, hardly any evidence at all. Not nearly the amount of in-depth evidence that Lex brought up in his videos. But for this specific point about him talking about JC cheating on his girlfriend, whether he's trying to make this the one point you should believe from his ex-girlfriend, or if he's using it as another point for you to not believe her, I don't really know what to make of it. My mind isn't really wrapping around it. I think this is just one of those he said, she said, nuh-uh, yeah-huh type of situations right here. Like, there's not a whole lot on either side, but I guess on Noah J's side, he has some like eyewitness testimonies, even though they're his friends' testimonies. And he goes over the point of inviting Minilad to his DJ show for like the biggest part of the video. Almost, it's like one of the biggest segments of his talking points, which he already made that stream talking about, and I already talked about it, so I'm just gonna skip over that. And then he once again talks about his divorce, which he already talked about and no one cares about in the grand scheme of the situation. I just think overall this was a nothing burger of a video, especially for how long it took for him to respond. There should have been a lot more, a whole lot more, if he was gonna make a video this late, because it's just him talking about his perspective, saying his point of view with very little evidence to back up most of the claims. But other than that, I guess that's it, and I'll catch you in the next one.